It's classic WTF. Hiya, how you doing? Now, I didn't know this while filming this video a couple of days ago, but the bosses here at WhatCulture.com want to give you, the people who don't have a WhatCulture Extra subscription, a little taster of what you're missing out on. So this brand new classic WTF moments from King of the Ring 1999 is going up on free on YouTube, as well as WhatCulture Extra. Obviously, we've had to censor this version on YouTube because we want to keep our clickbait ducats in the bank rather than YouTube going, no, that's not advertiser friendly, we're going to take them away. But if you do have a WhatCulture Extra subscription, you will be able to get the fully uncut, uncensored version with all the and buggers to my heart's content. Let it go. You know it's f***ing waxer because I'm a sick guy. It's classic WTF. I'm King Ross and welcome to WhatCulture Extra, where I can say f*** and or bugger to my heart's content. And welcome to July's classic WTF moments, where I'll be taking a look at the first pay-per-view since the death of Owen Hart, King of the Ring 1999. Here we go. So on a night that included upwards of 1,500 matches, though that is not an exaggeration, the dark match on the night saw meat. Yes, the sex slave for PMS defeat, and I'm not making this up, two-time Olympic gold medalist Kurt Angle. Wasn't the attitude you were so great? It was shit, really, wasn't it? Shit. Next we have the Hardy Boys' first WWE theme, you know, the first theme when Michael Hayes was their pimp daddy with the cane and the tight shirt that showed off his tatty bojangles. Their first theme, for some reason, despite they were on the card for this event, was used for the opening packages tune, which was played in the background while the grapplers were doing the graps with some nice effects on top of them. Or should that be King of the Ring 1999's opening package music was then picked up by the Hardys? No, because the Hardys used the same theme during this show. They should have been the first time around $6.99. X-Pac getting a huge pop, and you might not think this is much of a WTF moment considering he was a face back in the Attitude Era for large part, but it is in hindsight because of X-Pac heat. And I've gone onto the Google machine and looked up for a definition of X-Pac heat for you uneducated marks. X-Pac heat is a term coined for a performer who is getting pushed too hard. They have political power behind the scenes. They're overexposed despite the crowds not caring for them one way or the other. And doesn't that sound a little bit familiar to this? Women's wrestling, it's happened for bare time, fam, but Chyna's match with Road Dogg at King of the Ring 1999 was the first ever time that a woman had gone over 10 minutes in a singles match on a pay-per-view. And that's a WTF moment because a shitload of women's wrestling happened before that, and none of it on a WWE pay-per-view went over 10 minutes. And that, my friends, is utter bullshit, and thankfully something we've left behind in the past. You old time. No, I don't mean that. I don't mean you old time wrestling. They paved the way for the superstars of today. You old time booking that didn't take it seriously. Ha! Next we have the moment that my good pal Jim Ross said he got to spend some time with the legendary Andre the Giant, and that this kid being the Big Show, has some Andre the Giant like tendencies. Wait there, what's that? Big Show being Andre the Giant's son in WCW storylines was a load of bollocks. But he had but Hogan had a shirt thrown at him. A shirt that Andre was never seen in. Remember this? That's me Big Show impression. It was a load of shit. Oh, hell. Jim Ross is a mark. So you know when you're playing a game and it glitches and the guys who you're playing with in this game like get stuck like that and just glitch like that forever and you can't do anything about it, so you have to take the disc out and then start all over again. Well, Big Show and Kane in their match at King of the Ring 99 were supposedly in a game and they glitched while doing a headlock in the middle of the ring for a really awkward amount of bastard time. Kane was choking Show went down to one knee, and then Show stayed down on one knee for what felt like 1 hour and 55 minutes. The amount of time Kane was choking the Big Show, he should not have been down on one knee, he should have been flat on his back with his neck looking like a bastard pepperami. The amount of time Kane was squeezing. Remember, this is Kane then 318 or 328, whatever the it was, pounds of chiseled brimstone and hellfire, Jim Ross, with his arms round the neck of Big Show. That's a strong man. Bones aren't that strong when they've got pressure applied to them for a very long time. However, there is a reason to this, apparently. Apparently, Big Show was waiting for a cue from the referee to start making his comeback, but that cue never came. Now then, you or me, being human beings with a brain, we would think, bugger me, this has gone on for a long time. I'm starting to feel like a f***ing moron. The crowd is starting to boo the shit out of me. Maybe I should move to give them some value for money. No, Big Show just stood there, sat there, kneeled there. He kneeled there because he's a moron. There was a time, a bloody glorious time, when a fully grown man would walk out of his house with a massive sheet of paper that said, I eat boogers. Or I like fried pig's feet, and I fucking miss the 90s. Everything's just so fucking serious now. Everyone needs to chill the fuck out and go back to the mantra of the 90s. Not like the 60s, not all hippie and shit. Just everyone was fucked off their head and having a great time in the 90s. Where did that go? This EMT looks like a homeless Hugh Jackman and one claw short of a Wolverine fist. He did the typical amateur hour selfer when a man throws another man into a wall. Let me demonstrate with a dramatic reenactment of this utter bullshittery. Right. Ken Shamrock's got me by the chest. He's got me by the back. The wall is a good 5 yards away. Here's what that security guard did. Oh! My memory is shot, so I'm going to read this point here. We have Jerry, that fake King Lawler, asking Jim Ross what was damaged inside the body of Ken Shamrock. And upon asking what was damaged inside the body of Ken Shamrock, Jerry brought up these body parts, which presumably he actually thinks exist. Spleens. Lots of spleens. JR, being the f***ing legend that he is, replied and completely murked off that fake bastard King by saying, yeah, lots of spleens. Everybody's got 3 or 4 of them, several livers and a couple of kidneys. By God, he f***ing murked them off there, maggot. Oh, that was JBL. Oh. So after every move Ken Shamrock took during his match at King of the Ring 99, he said some wonderful, mesmerizing, heartfelt words that, you know, they just pierce the soul and make you a more wholesome person. Now thank Ron Extra so I can actually say what he said and you get the full oomph of what he was trying to convey here. And I better pick up the script again because it was a hell of a lot he was saying and I don't want to miss any of it out. It was that profound. So here goes. Ah, shit! Fucking hell! Ah, shit! Fucking hell! No bleeps, no nothing on Attitude Era back then. You heard it? F***ing all, and it was wonderful. Attitude Era, FMW shit. Go on then, Mr. Ed, and make a nice little siren, you f***ing pillock. So the backstory to this point starts with a match in Japan with Ken Shamrock against Vader. Vader powerbombed Ken Shamrock so hard that Ken Shamrocked? Yeah, he shamrocked. He ruptured some shit inside of his body, which caused him to bleed from the mouth. Now, if you fast forward to King of the Ring 99, an attack before the show on Heat caused Ken to have some internal injuries. He got to his match against Mr. Arse, and he bled from the mouth with fake blood. The real blood happened in FMW. This was then copied by WWE with fake blood and all sorts of bullshittery. Attitude Era, FMW shit. Good writing, Vince Russo. Next, we have The Undertaker asking what happens when you rip the balls off of a Brahma bull. Oh, you eat them? What's he getting at here? Now, judging by the Taker of the day with his satanic rituals, and speaking of the tongue, a mouthful of Brahma bollocks certainly wasn't out of the question. I am McDonald's Employee of the Month. Now, the WTF moment isn't the spelling or the phonetical pronunciation of this sign. It's the fact that somebody that works at McDonald's can afford a couple of $100 ticket, presumably, at the second row of a pretty major WWF at the time pay-per-view. Folk like that working at the Big D should be spending their time at WWE shows in the cheap seats because of their little petty wage, while folk like me basking the glory down at the front of shows. What the f*** is going on in the 90s? Oh, the f***ing 90s. What am I talking about? It was such a lovely time. Next, we move on to The Rock and his championship match with The Undertaker, and the start of that match that saw The Rock deliver one rock bottom to the evil, satanic, speaking in tongues WWF champion, which laid Taker out for what would have been roughly a 12 count. One back bump laid out the evil, satanic, higher power garnering, evil, satanic, speaking in tongue, evil satanic Undertaker. It laid him out for 12 seconds-ish. One bump, 12 seconds. Bollocks. Who knew Ricochet was such a Steve Austin mark back in '99? JR shouting, "Who's your daddy?" at The Rock and The Undertaker after a rock bottom through the announce table. I think it was such a long time ago when I saw it. Either way, we know, Jim, it's a redundant question, even though I know you were making a reference that I don't really think you got in 1999 with all the "Who's your daddy" shtick. But we know Rocky Johnson is The Rock's dad, and Mr. Undertaker is The Undertaker's dad because he perished in a fire and Paul Bearer hoofed Kane's mother and on the kitchen floor as well. Oh. Just in case you were in any doubt that wasn't actually a bottle of ether that Paul Bearer had, Paul Bearer made sure just to tilt the label of that bottle towards the camera so that you could see it clearly said ether in black letters, because when it has a label like that clearly wasn't scribbled on with pen just before the show, that means it's a legitimate thing. But a WTF moment involving that ether was JR smelling it by the time Paul Bearer had barely got the bastard lid off the bottle. Smell doesn't travel at the speed of bastard light, Jim, and your bifocals are varifocals. I don't know. I don't wear glasses. I don't know what they are. Either way, they don't see things that far ahead, so things come at you quicker than they do people with normal eyes. Normal eyes, working eyes. Not even eyes. It's nose. You smell with your nose. How could he smell that? Oh my God, Jim Ross is a bloodhound. But the other WTF moment is the fact that ether was being used in professional wrestling in 1999. What the f*** is this? The territories from the start of the 80s? F***ing Vince killed them, and he should have killed that gimmick with the gimmick being ether. He should have killed that with the f***ing territories. How far out of date was WWE in 1999? I'll tell you, very. I guess if they had the Ether Bunny doing this gimmick, they would have done it properly. You f***ing love it. Rock, know your role and don't look so f***ing normal in the back of the shot, despite the fact you've just been in the ring with The Undertaker, the satanic, evil, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm going to say. Despite the fact you've just gone through a match with him, and a match that involved Ether, which would have f***ed you up tons, buddy. Yet after the match backstage, when you were unaware where the camera was, you were stood there looking normal, like nothing was the matter. Know your role and know where all the cameras are at all times. A bullshit like this happens, Rock. So then after Ken Shamrock shouting such profound words as shit and f***, earlier in the night, WWE pulled their fingers out their arses and got the bleeping machine out by the time that Billy Gunn and X-Pac hit the ring for their match. Billy Gunn was censored while screaming shit, which won't be censored on here because this is WhatCulture Extra, while X-Pac himself was censored while shouting motherfucker at the top of his little lungs. The question on the nation's lips here is, where the f*** was this bleeping machine when Kenny Ultimate Fighter Bollocks was in the ring earlier in the night? This inconsistency means one thing. Dun 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 dun. So after sitting through 3 matches involving X-Pac, 3 matches involving Mr. Ass, a man called Mr. Ass won what was still then the very prestigious, and f*** off Joe Hendry, that is not your word, the very prestigious King of the Ring. That's right, f***ing Rockabilly won King of the Bastard Ring. Oh my God. The story goes that Vince McMahon had long been a fan of Billy Gunn's. He saw something in him and was going to push him no matter what the weather was. The weather being, of course, that Billy Gunn wasn't very good. He had a good look, he had a good size, he could say one catchphrase, but the fact of the matter was he was not over when he was outside. The New Age Outlaws. I was about to say New World Order there, but I corrected myself. Plus, we have the rumour that Stone Cold did not want to work anywhere near Billy Gunn when Billy Gunn was pitched as being a potential opponent of his. So he was involved with The Rock, and The Rock did the "My name's Billy" promo, blah, 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 blah. That was the best thing that came out of this King of the Ring victory, a King of the Ring victory that went nowhere, because people quickly realised that when Billy was out on his own, he couldn't do anything outside of just saying, "And if you're not down with that, we got 2 words for you," and lifting his microphone up like hither. Another WTF moment here was WWE's trolling of their fan base, and they never do that, do they? Roman Reigns entering 30 in the Rumble, Emelina's debut, Jinder with the title. Read about that, my take on WWE's trolling in Wrestling Issue 6. When this should go out, it might be available, but keep checking the shop.whatculture.com anyway, so you can read my utter drivel. Anyway, word broke apparently back in the day that WWE's VHS tape box, yes, VHS with tapes you watch the pay-per-views on, that read a little blurb that said this: see the Big Show go through 8 men en route to winning the King of the Ring. And I know I didn't say en like on, but I'm from fucking Newcastle. Now apparently WWE did this on purpose to throw everybody off because Big Show was such an overwhelming favourite, leading Billy Gunn to be a bit of a shock on the night. But you know, end of the day, Big Show would have been a better winner, wouldn't he? Wouldn't have had Rockabilly winning the King of the Ring and amounting to fucking nothing, making that King of the Ring one of the worst King of the Ring winners of all time. The John Deere 316 sign, I bet that 316 movement never got any traction. Because John Deere make f***ing tractors. Speaking of tractors, I haven't seen the new film entitled The Tractor, but I have seen the trailer. And haven't you seen the news recently up here in Gateshead? A local farmer has been making crop circles that are perfectly circular. Some say he's been using a protractor. I am sorry. Come on now, it's the one remaining ladder that's left upright, preventing the rest of the ladder structure that formed the entranceway at King of the Ring 1999 from falling down and crushing the McMahons. And it just so happens that it has a really long, big chain attached to it, so Stone Cold can yank it and cause the McMahons to have iron for tea. Oh. If WWE are telling me that that chain was just there, you know, by coinky-dink, they're surely fucking yanking mine. Good, that one, a good play on words. Who the raised that briefcase? We still don't know. They still haven't told us, the fucking dirty cock teasers. With this mystery, coupled with other mysteries like who had GTV? Even though recent happenings on Raw would suggest it's Corey Graves with Graves TV. Anyway, that at King of the Ring 99, coupled with GTV, coupled with who got Kevin Owens, my bae-ish, with the pie in the face, have left us so blue-balled that our collective balls are just about ready to burst. Just before we get to great balls of fire. How about great balls of dripping semen? However, the story goes that it was supposed to be Big Boss Man because, as we all know, just before King of the Ring 99, Boss Man was kicked out of the corporation. The stipulation as part of that ladder match that the corporation were banned from ringside, so Big Boss Man was out of the corporation while he was in charge of the hook, which was going up, while Stone Cold, the rival of the corporation, was going to get the briefcase. So when he rejoined the corporation the night after King of the Ring 99, that stipulation, that part of the stipulation, would have made sense, but they never decided to tell us. And I don't know why, because it's a completely logical yet really well thought out story. You'd think they want to do that considering the amount of shit they do these days. You f***ing hell. And we end with a bit of a WTF moment stat, considering this pay-per-view was the utter drizzling shit. It did 430,000 buys, which was more than the WCW pay-per-view that took place before King of the Ring 99 and the WCW pay-per-view that took place after King of the Ring 99 combined. King of the Ring 99, despite the fact it was shit, and I concede that people didn't know this before that, going in when they bought the pay-per-view, did more pay-per-view buys than 2 WCW pay-per-views combined. How? And that's it for all the WTF moments from King of the Ring 99. I've been King Ross, that's been shit, that's been shit, that's been bugger. Bye-bye now.
Friday, July 7th. In Manchester, it's the Japanese qualifier of the Pro Wrestling World Cup. It is going to be a phenomenal night. Two of the best young wrestlers in the world, Kyle O'Reilly versus Marty Scurll. Also featuring Rampage versus Tomohiro Ishii in what promises to be an absolutely titanic brawl. The Swords of Essex put their tag championships on the line against former ROH and IWGP champions War Machine. And the qualifier itself, the stacked Japanese bracket. In the first round of the tournament, we will see Kushida versus Sho Tanaka, Bushi versus Tiger Mask, Takahashi versus Yohei Komatsu, and Jushin Thunder Liger versus Funky Weapon Taguchi. Get your tickets at ProWrestlingWorldCup.com.